Thank you very much for coming, you guys. This is really lovely. This is, I think, the second or third time that Cole and the folks at Sketchfest have been kind enough to let me come up here and make a complete fool out of myself, and people are kind enough to do it for me as well. And before I begin, I would like to sing a little song dedicated to the city of San Francisco. And it goes like something like this. If you're recording, it goes like this. Cue the orchestra. I left my plane in San Francisco, down in the lab, he calls to me. We ride on little cable cars that take us to gay bars. The morning fog might chill the air, I don't care. My brain waits there in San Francisco, beyond the blue and windy sea. When I come on, San Francisco. Sad that Bob Lee Paulsen's oldest child gets paid to do that. Well, as you know, we have 4 incredibly gifted young fellows here and me, and we are going to have entirely too much fun. As most of you know who've watched and listened to Talking Tunes, thank you so much for your incredible support of my little podcast. As Cole said, probably next Friday it'll be up on iTunes and my website and all that stuff. And so today, just like every podcast, it is completely unstructured. We don't, I don't necessarily want there to be any agenda. I want all these incredibly talented guys to sort of bounce off the walls. So we're going to blast. Also, we don't have clearly a giant crowd, but we have an interested crowd. And so I want you guys to ask questions. I want you guys to be involved. I want you to ask questions about acting, about, as many of you know who listen to this, we have, all these folks have been on, with the exception of 2. 2 of the guys have been on, 2 have not. That's why it's very exciting. But we also try to cater to actors and their questions. So it's not just about whether or not you like the work we've done. It's about questions you might have about how all of us do what we do, different characters. The IMDb's of the folks we've got back there are just insane. So please ask questions, because your questions often elicit responses that help people who listen to this down the road, okay? So you guys are definitely an integral part of the whole thing. You participate, and we crave that. The first gentleman I'd like to bring out is actually a new person. He's an incredibly talented young fella. We got some gamers here, I know, right? Yeah! So you guys know IGN. Yeah. Well, the IGN website, let me give you a little backstory. Greg Miller hosts Up at Noon with Greg Miller, right on IGN. And Greg and one of his partners were interviewing me and Mae Whitman and Sean Astin for the new Ninja Turtles last year at Comic-Con. And what was kind of cute is that as we were talking, I could see, and Greg verified this later, Greg could kind of went, holy shit, that guy's Raphael. Oh no, he's the original. Wait a minute. Yakko? You and Punky? The chick? What? Gee. So after the fact, he said, I would love to have you come up and be on Up at Noon. And I called my son and said, hey, I'm going to be doing this thing called Up at, and before I could get "at" out of my mouth, my gamer geek son freaked. No way! You're going to be on Up at Noon with Greg Miller? I said, yeah. Oh my God, that's fantastic! So, and it was. Greg and his crew, Megan is here, they treated me like a rock star. It was an amazing experience. And the next day, after the little piece that I was on, I watched it. The next day I checked it. I had like 40,000 views the next day. So I know all about IGN now. In any case, Greg Miller is here, and would we please would you help me introduce, or help me welcome Greg Miller, please. Game Over Greggy, for those of you on Twitter, is that right?
That's right.
That's right.
And on YouTube and a few other dozen social media platforms. What it was you were talking, they're like, oh yeah, Ninja Turtles are coming out. I'm like, that's cool, who? They're like, Sean Astin. I'm like, oh, Rudy, awesome.
Yeah, the guy
and then they're like, the girl from Arrested Development. I'm like, great.